Alright, today I'm going to make a little video on a mooning tool that I designed and built for relatively cheap, all things considered. Just took a little time and took a cut finger, but never mind that for now. You'll just have to excuse it if I struggle a little bit later on because of it. Now, I bought a Smith & Wesson Model 625 in 45 ACP, their new one from the Performance Center. Kind of neat looking. I like the handles. It's a red, white, and blue laminate grip. Some people hate it, but it's really grown on me since I've got it. Really kind of a fun little firearm. Maybe you should check it out. But any of you who have 45 ACP revolvers with moon clips, maybe this can help you out. Now, I'm sure you can gear it towards other moon clips, but since this is the only revolver I carry or have that has moon clips, this was what I geared this build to. You'll have to alter it for your own builds if you needed to. But half the fun in just about anything I do is building things. I like to have a problem-solving attitude, and I like to kind of invent things and build things. And I was loading these bad boys by hand because Smith & Wesson is gracious enough to give you this little demooner, which works pretty well. I like it. It's okay. I know there's lots better equipment out there, and I'll probably make one similar to what other people have made. But for now, this is doing the job for me. It's just loading these by hands. Oh my goodness, it's a real booger. This last round, I mean, there's no give in the moon clip because there's actual, every slot's taken up. So trying to shove this bad boy in here, it's like very difficult, and you can put dimples in your fingers just by doing one of them. So, you know, of course, lots of people buy mooning tools, but instead of spending 45, 50 bucks, or I don't know, some of them are probably a lot cheaper than that, but doing the research, I decided to make my own, again, because I think it's fun. Now, I have access to a metal lathe, so there is one part on this build that may be fancier than it needs to be. You can get away with other things, and I'll describe that later. And what you need to start off with is just basically about 5 pieces of hardware, and you can get this thing built. I started off with a piece of angle iron. See here, it's aluminum actually, it's not iron, but it's 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches roughly. I'm not sure of that for certain, but it's probably not as crucial as some may think. It's just a piece of aluminum. You can buy it at Home Depot. I think a full stick is like 20 bucks. But if you had something laying around, I'm sure you could use it. If not, spend the 20 bucks, share it with your friends, or just take pride in making something for yourself. Because it's, like I said, that's where all the fun is in my book. Anyway, you're going to need a piece of angle iron, and you're going to need a bolt head. My bolt's about 1.25 inches long, and it's got to fit the moon clip perfectly. This is a 5/16, I believe, bolt. It's just a coarse thread, just an average old bolt. You can get it at Home Depot. I think it cost me 11 cents. Now, beyond the bolt, you're going to need a plastic washer so that the moon clip doesn't sit flat on the piece of aluminum. It's actually going to be lifted off just enough so that the rim of the cartridge can slip in the teeth of the moon clip. So, cheap plastic washer, found that in some scrap around the house, and cut it down to size and put a hole in it. Then you're going to need a couple of nuts and another washer. I put a washer right here as a little, kind of serves as a bushing to keep everything flat and straight. This is a standard coarse thread nut that is used to lock down the handle portion of it. Now this handle is what I lathed out on the mill, and the reason I did it like this is because it's big, it's round, it fits your palm nicely. There's a lot of surface area so you're not slipping. All the forces applied to your whole hand. And I lathed out the middle real nice and kind of neat just because it's fun. About this is the time that I cut my finger on a piece of aluminum shaving. But inside there's another washer and another, this is an actual nylon lock nut that when torqued against this nut will lock this assembly down and still allow it to spin on the aluminum framing here. So instead of machining out something like this, I've thought that it could be as simple as a very large butterfly nut, something that you could grab hold of and spin it by hand. Now, the bigger the better, I'm sure, because we're talking about quite a bit of force. Or you can actually just take a piece of aluminum or a piece of steel or whatever, drill a hole in it, and use it as like a handle, just a large flat handle that you can spin instead of this. So you could just grab it and turn it around. So I'm going to give you a little demonstration on how it works. Like I said, it's always the last one that really fights you. And I kind of use my thumb pad to hold everything down and allow it to spin here. You can see that it actually spins right easily. But that last one, I'm going to set it in there and I'm going to guide it in with my thumb. I'm going to let it grab in the teeth right there, and hopefully my injured finger won't inhibit me that much, but there, it slips it right in. I'm going to show you a full load real quick, and again, before I cut my finger, I tested it and it works really smooth and easy. Now, the hole placement on this is obviously only enough to where that round just glides the wall right there. Right in there, that round has just got to glide that wall ever so slightly just to push it in, and it does that just right. So I'm going to load this up one more time, give you a little. Now I chose the angle iron because it allows me to just stack my rounds up from over here up against the wall, and you can just kind of lay them there and they just sit real nicely, and you can use your whole thumb to kind of push them on in, angle it back, let them roll right in. A little bit of love, a little bit of force, just rolls them right in there. That's 3 down, 3 to go. I'm moving slow for illustration purposes, but I assure you, with an uninjured hand and a little bit of practice, this actually goes quite nicely. It always comes down to that last one in my injured finger. But I'll show you one more time. I'll try to be a little bit more graceful. I'll put it together. I'll try to do it a little faster, but again, you'll have to be wary of my injured hand. Don't want to reopen that. But essentially, it all falls right into place. Easy to use, easy to build. Got about $6 in it, and the most time I got in it was machining this out. Otherwise, one cut on a piece of angle iron, one hole, bolt it all together, make a handle of some kind, and enjoy the build. Thank you, and hope you enjoyed it.